Hello. Welcome to my list of the worst numbers of all time. So this is a follow-up to my previous list, the top 5 of all time. I recommend you watch that before watching this one. It gives a bit of context, and I'm not just a hater of numbers or something. Even though I'm going to be critical in this list, really critical of some of the numbers, it's more that they're interesting to talk about. It's not that they're necessarily bad, even if I hate them. I still respect that they're useful and have a lot to offer, including that I can make a list about how much I hate them. So yeah, I recommend you watch that list to get some grounding on where I'm coming from with this. But without further ado, in 5th place, it's going to be, of course, the number 5. Now, I talked about this in the previous list, where I also put it in the best numbers of all time. And I guess there's two sides to 5. Like I said in the previous video, I think 5 is really coasting on the usefulness of 10. I don't think it's actually that useful on its own. I think without 10 in the equation, or without 10 as the basis of our numerical system, I don't think that 5 would have much to offer us, really. I mean, if we were using a 9-based system, then we'd be like trying to divide 9 in half. A terrible idea. So yeah, I think on its own, like 5 seems useful, but it's really a bit deceptive. It's 10 that's carrying all of the work, and I think 5 is sort of slipping in to take some credit that it doesn't earn. So that's my 5th place. But I'm not just going to do the same numbers that I did last time, because that would be a pretty pointless list. So the next one on my list of the worst numbers of all time is, it's the square root of -1, or whatever it is. I hate it. Like it's such a stupid number that they don't even give it a number anymore. They just give it they just give it an I. Now that's just really throwing your hands up and giving up. Like I get that they were trying to do something different and experimental, and normally I'd applaud that and encourage that sort of thing. But I think this just went too far out of the sequence, really. Like, it doesn't even fit on the normal number continuum. So if you're going to do something different, call it something different, and don't try to fit it into the previous series. Just start a new series. I mean, maybe they were kind of trying to do that, but it didn't really take off. I know there's a few other ones, but yeah, this is the only one anyone's ever heard of, so it obviously didn't do too well. So yeah, I don't like that one at all. In fact, I'm putting it at 5 on the list and moving 5 up to 4, because I just feel annoyed even talking about it now. So that's number 5. Moving on to number 3. And for number 3, I've got pi. Again, they were trying something different, and they went so far out that they didn't even call it by a number. Now, unlike some of the other ones, pi is really useful. I just think that it's unfinished. Yeah, they didn't even, finish it when they released it, and we're all working with like a beta version of it. And considering the resources and the time they've got to get these things right, I just think that's really sloppy, and we shouldn't put up with that kind of thing. They should finish it, patch it up, and then I'll reassess it. But most of the ones that you see that are finished they're just rounded up. Like, it's not genuinely the number. There's so much work left with that one. So yeah, that was a disappointment from a series that I'd been following pretty closely until then. But it gets points because it is quite a useful one. So next up in the list is, I wasn't sure where to rank this one, but it's infinity. Now, arguably infinity isn't even a number, more of a symbol or a concept. But again, I think there's a bit of laziness involved. I think that they, rather than just finishing the series, they just said, oh, it'll never be finished, and just threw up their hands and gave up. Like, I don't think that's good enough, considering how many people use these numbers and how much we've all invested in watching this series grow. You know, it leaves it open. I'll give it that. Like, if they had tried to finish it with a bad ending, we would have complained about that too. Like, I guess it's better open-ended than a bad ending. But, you know, nothing's resolved. There's no closure. Everything is just left hanging, and we're never going to get the answers that we're looking for. So, yeah, no, that's infinity. But there's one number that I rank even worse higher on the worst list than infinity, and that's infinity plus 1. Because I just think, you know, when you've got infinity, well, it completely defeats the point of having infinity if you then just have another infinity that's bigger. That's ridiculous. I just don't even want to qualify that with an intelligent critique, really. It's just like infinity plus 2, infinity plus infinity. So, yeah, no, that number really annoys me, and I've never seen it. It seems like a bit of a contradiction in terms, if we're being honest, and yeah, I've never seen it get used anywhere for non-trivial reasons. It's always just to prove a point or win an argument or run a really weird hotel. So anyway, that's my list of the worst numbers of all time. Did I miss out any? Was I unfair to them? I should also point out, I'm not like a mathematologist or anything. I followed the early numbers, but you know, it sort of lost track of it a bit later on. It got very complicated and convoluted, and there were lots of twists and turns and too many characters to keep track of. So yeah, I'm not any kind of expert, and I apologize if I'm getting some of the lore of it wrong. But you know, I'm just approaching it from my own perspective here. Anyway.